Hey guys, and welcome to FTD Facts, the channel where we like to educate people about cultures and people from around the world. So today, we are visiting a new country for us here on the channel. A country that many of you have requested us to do, and that country is not only beautiful, but has an extensive history and a vast amount of wildlife. And that is the country and collection of islands known as the Philippines. Hey guys, what's going on? Dave Wapple back at it once again to talk about another great country. Today we are talking about the Philippines. But before I get in this video, I want to know from all of you guys out there in the real world, I want to know, considering we're going to talk about animals, what is your favorite animal? Come on, let me know down there. I can't talk anymore. I was going to say the hedgehog, but I don't know what happened. But let me know your favorite animal down there. And on top of that, once again, this is another one of our videos that has been requested by so many of you. People like Ricardo Adira, Christine Casapol, Nadim Jan, Jasko Palms, and Sarah Nina. And of course, a lot more of you guys, because you guys really wanted us to do this. So thank you guys so much for turning our eyes to this nation, which for those who are joining us for the first time here on this channel, we really like to listen to you. So get in on the comments section, make a recommendation, because we talk about everything and everything. You have an idea? Let us know. We're gonna do it. Now, firstly, where does the Philippines get its name from? Well, this all comes from King Philip II of Spain, where Spanish explorer Ruy Lopez de Villalobos named the collection of islands in the 1540s as Las Islas Filipinas. Now, let's not get this confused with Ferdinand Magellan, who first really discovered the Philippines for Spain. This is when he landed on Hamonon on March 16th of 1521, and at that point he claimed or founded the islands as part of Spain. And it wasn't until later that the archipelago got the whole name the Philippines. Now, speaking of the archipelago of the Philippines, it comprises of 7,107 to approximately 7,600 islands. The reason for this inconsistency is sometimes there's high tides and small islands get swallowed up by the water. And surprisingly enough, this country has a land mass of about 300,000 kilometers squared, with a population of over 102,500,000. And because of that, it sits at the 12th most populous country with a growth rate of 2%, meaning it is one fast-growing country. Now, the Philippines was the first South Asian country to gain independence after the Second World War. In the late 1800s, the Philippines got caught between a quarrel with the United States and Spain. And after the Spanish-American War, which ended in 1898 with the signing of the Treaty of Paris, the Philippines had a problem being under the rule of the United States. And this resulted in a 3-year war that went from 1899 to 1902. Now, strives for independence began in the 1900s, but in 1934 they introduced the Philippine Independence Act, which gave the Philippines limited independence until the United States granted full independence. However, because of World War II, the Philippine independence was postponed until it became a free nation on July 4th of 1946. And this was all due to the Treaty of Manila. Now, during the Second World War, this was not just a dark time for other countries, but a dark time for the Philippines as well, as during this time, most of the islands were occupied by the Japanese. Now, we all know of the terrible attack on Pearl Harbor, which happened on December 7th, 1942. But on December 8th, about 10 hours later, Manila was also surprise attacked by a Japanese land and air force. The large-scale attack on Manila and Bataan resulted in General MacArthur being ordered to retreat from the Philippines, which made resupplying and counter-attacking the Philippines impossible until he returned on October 20th, 1944. And unfortunately, by the time the war ended, the conflict had taken the lives of 527,000 people. Now let's jump out of the dark moments in the Philippine history and talk about some of the lighter and greater moments of the Philippines. The Philippines is a country that is rich with all sorts of different types of life. As a matter of fact, they say there is a large portion of life that they've never even discovered yet. But what makes the Philippines great is that it is the country with the highest rate of discovery for new life. For example, in July of 2006, they found 23 new species of mammal, and that was discovered on the island of Luzon. Now, an interesting thing about the Philippines is that 90% of its population is Christian, and 80% of them are identified as Roman Catholic. What I find also weird about that is that it is the only South Asian country to have a Catholic majority. And because of that, the Philippines holds the world's longest Christmas celebration. Now, the reason for this is because it is very common to see people in September putting up decorations at their houses or in malls. Actually, up here in North America, we love the Christmas tree, but down there, they prefer their Christmas parole, which are lights created from bamboo and paper. And the holiday itself usually continues into January with the Feast of the Three Kings. Now, speaking of malls, did you guys know that the Philippines has 4 of the world's top largest malls? Those malls are SM Mega Mall, SM Seaside City Cebu, SM the Mall of Asia, and the biggest one coming at 3rd in the entire world, the SM North EDSA Mall, with over 5,100,000 square feet. Now, one thing that's really interesting about the Philippines, it is the world's top supplier of nurses. That's right, 25% of all the nurses worldwide actually come from this country. And not only that, but 11% of its population are generally working all abroad, which equals to almost 11 million people. Now, another thing that makes the Philippines amazing is its amount of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. One of the most famous is the rice terraces of the Cordilleras, which date back to over 2,000 years ago. Now, they were inducted into the UNESCO in 1995, and it was the first ever property in the Heritage List as a cultural landscape. And speaking of heritage sites, you might be shocked to know that the Philippines has 9 of them. Sites that range from churches to mountains, and let's not even consider the other 19 that are on the list for consideration. But one of the most special heritage sites is the Tabata Reef. The Tabata Reef is located in the Sulu Sea, and this was a site that was inscribed in 1993. It is home to no less than 600 species of fish, 350 coral, 11 shark species, 13 dolphin and whale species, and over 100 species of bird. And because of its diversity in life, it is one of the most protected sites in the entire world. So that's it, guys. My name's Dave Wapple, and it's been awesome talking about the Philippines. This is one that I've been looking forward to for a while. I know you guys have, but you know, I've always wanted to go to the Philippines because it looks really beautiful. But for all you guys out there, be sure to leave comments for future places for us to talk about, because for me, it's been awesome talking about the Philippines and learning something new about a country that has a vast and amazing landscape, while just merely touching on its history and stories of its people and culture. A growing country with lots to offer, from heritage sites on land to aquatic, the Philippines is a place that helps remind us that we are not the only creatures in the big picture we call life.